want to. There's a question on your study guide that looks like these first graphs. Oh wait, I need to move those. There we go. So your question on your study guide, it just talks about correlation. It's going to come right back. There's scatter plots. A scatter plot means there's points scattered. Does that make sense? It's called, you plot points and they're scattered. But do they go in a general direction where, like mathematicians, statisticians, that's somebody, the statistics, they can take these points and they can create an equation and predict things for the future. Predict sales. So you wonder, where in the world am I going to use this? You may not, but somebody else does. A lot of times they'll just use a calculator to do it. But what we've learned on those equations, you can make an equation from any of these points. So this graph right here, we call it a positive correlation. So on your study guide, there's a question like this. Again, it's not on your test though. This is a positive correlation because where are they going? Up. And you can tell that that scatter plot is going up. Where's this one going? Down. So it's a negative correlation. These are scattered about everywhere. I could not get any kind of predictions made with that data. So we call it no correlation. Does everybody get that? I don't think there's one on your sheet. I don't know, it might be like that. We'll get to in a second. But so you're looking at the correlation. Can you use that data to predict something? Now, in a little bit, let's say that we weren't using the graphing calculator. What they do is they find a line of best fit, that's what they call it, to make a prediction. That just means they pick some points and they make an equation out of it. Then they can see in the future where are those data, those points going to hit. So when am I going to make such and such money? You know, how many items do I have to sell to make that money? Anyway, that's what you're looking at. But I'm not going to make you make an equation on your own. I'm going to get you to do this with the graphing calculator, okay? So the first type of thing, let me just look at your worksheet with you. It says, all right, make a scatter plot and describe the type of correlation. So here I have my study time and my test score. All right. Do you think that there would be correlation there? Think about the two things, your study time and the test score. The more you study, the better your score. So yes, there would be, we think, a positive correlation. If you go up on study time, you should go up on your test score. Okay. Now, if I draw my X and my Y, I didn't draw the other side because we're not looking at negatives. Okay, so I'm only looking in this quadrant here. Now, what I would do is your time is always your x-axis. So here's the thing. I don't want to have to do 100 marks. Okay, y'all don't have to write. You can write. You can just follow along with me. You won't turn it in. But if I'm going all the way out to 100, I would count by tens because 10 marks isn't bad, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I wished I'd have done them a little better. 60, 50. These are more spread out. Anyway, we'll go with that. Now, my test scores go anywhere from like 70 to 100, like if I'm just kind of rounding. So what I would do is do a little break in my graph. Do y'all remember that? You can do this little zigzag and it means my graph jumps up. I don't want to have to start at 0 because I don't need numbers all the way up until I get to 70s. So, and then I would just do 70, 80, 90, 100. Now, and just because I count these by tens does not mean I have to count these by tens. I could have counted these by fives. Okay? Is everybody good so far? I think you've kind of graphed before, huh? Some. So my first thing says I'm going to go over to 33 and up to 76, okay? So that's about 33, that's about 76, and make my point. Is everybody good with that? Is it perfect? No, but I'm getting just some points on there and kind of seeing if there's correlation. Over 52 and up 85. 52 to 85. 49 and 83, over 101 and up 97. And then over 65 and up 92. So is there a correlation? Does it look like my points are going up or down? It looks like they're going up. So you would say positive correlation. How are we with this? Huh? Yeah, so yeah, you're not going to turn it in though, but that's what it would be asking. So you would write positive correlation. That's the type of correlation it is. That's what it was asking for. Okay, let's do number 2, and then we're done with the graphing part, and then we'll move on to the other. Everybody's okay? All right, so number 2, it says children's tickets sold, and adult tickets. So I guess we'll do children's tickets on the x-axis. That's what I'm going to go with. Adult tickets on the y-axis. No, I'm going to change it. I'm going to do adult tickets here. No, I just said that. Children's tickets here. And then I'm going to do adults here. The reason I did that, it probably wouldn't have mattered what way you did that, but I was thinking, okay, the more adults that I have going to this event, then probably what? The more children I'm going to have going to the event. And you could have vice versa. You know, the more children you have, then the what? More adults. So either way, but I was just thinking, let me just put adults down here. I would have taken either one. Now, for adults, it looks like I like how they counted by tens already. So I'm just going to do that. 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Now for kids, it goes all the way from 30 to 140-ish. So I may count by 20s. Is everybody good with that? What would you have picked? Would y'all have picked 20s? Yeah. Or 25 even, but 10s, that would kind of be a lot. So I'm going to go with 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and then 120. What did I say? Oh, it goes up to 140. Yeah. So we'll be up here at this line. That's going to be the 140 line. You don't have to do that. I was just trying to make sure y'all could see it. So children's tickets, let's do adults tickets. I'm going to go over 10 and up to what? 30. So for my adults, if there's 10 adults, bless you, there's 30 kids. If there's 20 adults, then there's what? 55 kids. If there's 30 adults, then there's 80 kids. 40 adults, 112 kids. And then 50 adults, 137. So what would this one be? Positive correlation. Even if you graphed it the other way, it's positive correlation. If you were to have one on the test, it would most likely be something over time. And it's just very important for science and math to remember time is always your X value. Always. Whether you're talking years, months, minutes, seconds, it doesn't matter. Time is always X. On your study guide, I think I have somebody's study guide right here. Even though these are not going to be I don't think they're on the test. I can't quite remember. I'll look and see, because remember my test I just looked at was a little messed up. I'll have to reprint it. But what is this one? It is positive correlation. That's all you would do. Okay. Then this last one, I think we can probably do. Is there a correlation? It says the number of hours spent studying for a test and your test mark. I don't know where in the world they're from. Like your test score. Okay? Not a mark. So the number of hours you spend studying and your test score. Do you think there would be a correlation? What would happen the more you studied? So that's a positive correlation, right? That would be your answer. There's a positive correlation. And then it says, let me read your answer choices. Negative correlation, the more you study, no. So yeah, it's A. If you read all your answer choices, there's a positive correlation. The more you study for a test, the better your score is likely to be. And it says causal relationship. I think, let's see if they talk about that in here.
I thought that said caddying.
Like causation, does one thing cause the other? That's what that means. Does one thing cause the other? Yes. If there's a correlation, one thing causes the other. Okay? So the more you study causes your what? Test score to go up. Anyway, so that's those two. Now we look at the other part of today's lesson. How am I doing on time? Okay. We are going to be given data. Raise your hand if you do not have a graphing calculator. Okay, so I have one. The rest, so what I want you to do is I'm going to go through every problem twice. So y'all bear with me. We'll just do a few of these. So when you do a problem, as soon as you're done, would y'all be willing to pass your calculator to somebody else? If we need to sanitize or something, we can. So y'all might be bored because I'm going through the problem twice and I need my calculator or else I'd give somebody this one. All right. We are dealing with data. For data, we use something called statistics. So there is a button. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because you have your worksheet. Let me make sure I'm recording. I haven't. Yeah. So do y'all see a button that says stat if you have a calculator? That's the statistics button.
Wait, I don't see it.
Okay.
Oh, I see it.
It is right here. Okay. And it's stat. That stands for statistics. So if you press it, and then, I know y'all can't see that good, you are going to go to the edit. And this is a table of values. Guess what you have on your worksheet? A table of values. It's the first thing. If you're at stat, it should be on edit. So you press enter. Do I need to slow down? Now, mine has data in there. You cannot press the clear button. You must press I'm pressing the delete button. Does anybody have data in there?
I do, but I'm deleting it.
Okay, yeah. So delete it.
Okay.
And then when you're done, y'all let me. Is there anybody? You're still deleting? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. And if there's something in two lists, see that's what that L stands for, list 1, list 2. Then you need to delete it. Go over and delete both lists. On your calculator, I had a bunch of numbers in here, so.
I thought you meant you don't use the list.
No, yeah, you're using list 1 and list 2. Is it a lot of them, Mary Claire? Let me see. So are you oh, here, let me go that. There we go. Sometimes I do have a little trouble with these. Yeah, you're good. All right, now, list 1 is your X value. List 2 is your Y. Now, let me read what it says, though. All right, your X value is the years since 1980. So be careful here. I'm going to write some little numbers. If it's 1980, how many years has it been since 1980? No. 0. I don't think y'all understood the way I worded it. If this says 1980, how many years has it been since 1980? 0. If this says 1990, it's been 10. Yeah, I think y'all see what I'm saying. Now, I know you. That's what I could tell. How many years has this been since 1980? 15, 20, 22. Then what? 23, 24, 25, 26. These are my X values. So if you go to take, these are actually also problems in a college algebra class. I have recently done college algebra with students, and I've seen some of these in there. Actually, lots of these. Okay, so they always tricked them because they would put this. You had to figure out, do I enter in 1980 or do I enter in 0? Okay, anyway, so what are we going to enter in? 0. So these are all my list 1 values, and guess what these are? All my list 2 values. So we're going to take a second. In my list 1, I'm going to press 0. Okay, wait. Question. All right, so you're at. So you press 0, enter.
Oh, okay. So
Is that anybody need me to pause? What do you need?
I just want to. How did you get to that?
Stat, edit. Stat, and then press enter.
Okay.
Now, and there shouldn't be anything in there, right? Okay, so you'll press 0, enter. 10, enter. 15. And is everybody getting that? Okay. Yeah, you have to press enter each time. You're just entering in each number. So your data is all entered in for your X values. Then what are you going to have to do?
Why?
Go over to list 2. You just press the right button, and y'all, we're going to do this again for everybody else that doesn't have a calculator. And now we're going to enter in our y values. So we get 9746. And y'all should have them on your paper. 14,538. 15,983.
How come the first two are just little boxes? And the second and third?
Hold on. Let me finish this and I'll see what you're talking about. 17.
Well, she's gonna go back over.
17. Yeah, I'm going over the whole thing again. I may pause the video to do it again. Okay, what was your question?
Why are they little, like, you see the second one to the bottom? On your list two?
On my list 2. Yeah.
Why is that just a black box?
Because I could enter in my next thing. It's just ready for me to enter in my next thing.
No,
Not this?
no. Go up? No. Never mind.
Oh, that's a 0.
No, I see that above the 0. Why is there just a black box?
I don't see a black box.
I'm looking at it. It's right, look.
Oh
Oh my God, that's an 8.
I knew it was a number.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh.
There. All right. Well, at least I was thinking, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah. I can tell. The lighting is not good. All right.
I'm not ready.
Okay, I was about to say, does everybody have their numbers in? And I'm hoping mine are all correct. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't double check. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure. I really don't.
We should just take a picture of this and enter it for you.
Y'all, I'm looking through this test, and I do not see any of these on here. I'll double check, but I do not think there's any. Don't worry. Tuesday is study guide day. I will let you know what all's on there. All right. Is everybody done? Now, the fun part. Our calculator has all the data. So we are going to go press the statistics button again. And we want, is everybody there? We want our calculator to calculate something for us. So do y'all see the calculate, that if I press the right button, it went over to calculate? And so everybody go press the right button and go over to calculate. And then I want, go down to number 4. And what does that first part of that, the first 3 letters look like? A line, L-I-N. It's called a linear regression. It's so funny because when everybody forgets that, so in college algebra last year they were like, lin reg. And I'm like, no, it's a linear regression. So it makes a straight line. Hold on, let me pause this. Everybody with me now. So we can, if you go down to number 4, that's going to make a linear regression. That just means an equation for a line, a straight line. So I'm going to press enter. Okay, now, does everybody's look like this? It's fine if there was stuff above it.
No.
What does yours say?
Mine says X.
Okay, so if yours, look, if you have a newer calculator, it looks like this. So you're going to go down, because see that says, hey, we're using list 1 and list 2, and I want to what? Calculate it. And so it gave her her straight line. I'm about to show y'all in just a second how to write that. So now,
Calculate and press enter?
we press enter. Yeah, you go to calculate and press enter, or if yours looks like mine, you press enter.
Why is it 319, not the 318?
Okay.
I went to error.
You entered in something wrong. We'll look back at it in a second. Did anybody get something very close to this?
No, 319.
Okay, it's because your calculator. I don't know. Maybe if you did a number wrong.
I got the same one.
You got the same as
I got
me.
the exact
Okay,
same.
I probably put a number wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
What is that equation?
What is this equation? Does it look like y equals mx plus b? It does. Y equals mx plus b. That's all that says. So I would write down for my answer, and I'm going to write it on a sheet of paper in a second. I know I'm screaming, but I'm trying to get them to hear me on the video. Y equals 318, depending on how many decimals you go to. We'll just stick with that. Y equals 318x plus 9,734. I can use that to calculate and predict something in the future. Let me see yours. Let me pause this for a second.
It's a big number.
It says So for my answer, like, I'm not going to make the scatter plot. We practiced that already. And I'm not drawing a line of best fit because we're learning with the calculator. In college algebra, it's going to assume you've already learned. I know that's a long time for y'all, but it's going to assume you know how to use one of these. So that's why I'm teaching this. They won't go back to line of best fit and stuff. They're going to use a calculator. And then it says write an equation. That's what's right here. So it's, remember your equation that we have learned is y equals mx plus b, right? That's one of them, one of the many. So we would write y equals, and they tell us our two numbers, 318. I don't know what decimals it wants, so I'm just going to go with this. Plus, and what was the other number it gave me?
9,734.
Yeah, 9,734. That is an equation that I could use to make predictions about the population in whatever year, okay? So it says, what will the population in Florida be in 2020? All right, and again, this is not on your test, but we'll see this again in Algebra 2. In 2020, how many years has that been since 1980? 40. So my x would be 40. So if I do 318 times 40,
So I can clear this? Oh, no.
yeah, well, I'm just going to this, 318 times 40 plus 9734. All I did was I plugged that 40 into my equation. 318 times 40 plus that. It says the population would be this, and that's, of course, in thousands. 1, 2, 3. And we could actually Google that. What was the population of Florida?
Why did you add
And-
a zero?
Because it said in thousands, so I added I added 3 zeros.
So 22 minutes.
Just so I could Google it. Yeah. Or you could have said that in thousands. Like you could have written that in thousands, but I want to Google the population of Florida real quick. In 2020. Yes. Population of Florida
Why do we have letters on our calculator?
in 2020. It was 21,538,187. Y'all, that's a pretty good think though, they use this data and they made a prediction. When they predict the weather, are they always right? No. So but they can make a prediction using equations, okay? So it wasn't bad. Now, pass your calculator, and we're going to do another problem. Do you want to do the same problem, or do you want to do another one just so y'all can see it? A different one? Okay. So now, my others, pass your calculator to somebody else. Do you not have one? Let's see. She passed it. Is there anybody that still doesn't have one? Now, let's talk about our list. We need to get it ready. Now, what is my year going to be that I enter in? And it says years since 99. So what am I going to start with? 0. And then we're just figuring out how many years has that been since 99? 1 year. How many years? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Questions, y'all, on that part?
Yes, sir.
Everybody's listening? Okay. Because this is very important for Algebra 2. I'm going to assume you remember it in 2 years. Okay. We'll go over it again. But, all right. Those are your years. Then I have my gross in millions. How much you're making. Okay? In millions. So, I'm going to enter in. Go to stat because we're looking at statistics. So, everybody press stat. Again, let me zoom out. It's this button right here. Is there anybody that hasn't made it to this? Everybody's good? Okay, well, y'all, and quit talking, though, so y'all can follow along. You have to pay attention so we don't have to keep waiting. Now, we go, are you on stat?
I don't know what Shirley's calculator's in right now. It's giving this something.
Press second, quit.
Well, how you turn it off?
Stat.
Oh, that's the other stuff.
Okay, STAT, stat. Now, press edit, because we're going to edit our tables. Now, here's the thing. I have things in here, So I'm just pressing the delete button. You cannot, y'all listen, you cannot press the clear button. You must press delete. Clear does nothing. It doesn't clear the list. You have to delete it. So go through and delete both columns. There is a way to do it all at once, but
What is that, DEL?
DEL, yes, is delete.
Just keep tapping it?
Yeah, and it'll delete all of them. It's one at a time. I could show you another way to clear the whole list, but it gets kind of confusing. So delete's easy, right? Just delete, 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 delete. Anybody not to this point?
Or you can reset back your calculator and all go away.
Don't reset your calculator. Okay, you're still working on it? It's just an empty list now. Anybody not to this point? Okay, now list 1 is our time. It's always your x value. What are our numbers again? 0 through 8. So you press 0, enter, 1, enter, and so on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Put 0, enter.
4,
1.
6, 7, 8.
Now list 2, those are your y values. So I'm going to enter in my gross revenue, okay? So it would be 7,500, and then y'all just look at your paper so I don't call out these numbers and get people confused. So it's all on your paper.
All these numbers in there.
Problem?
Wait, it's...
Yep, I'm listening.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Not 199.
Yeah, you just type the number and press enter each time.
Thank you.
On the second column.
Yeah.
Are you the second column?
Yeah, right there.
Yes.
And then when you get to this point,
We just write
Yes. Put it in the column.
I'll ask you in a second, when everybody gets to this point, we have all of our numbers, our x's and our y's entered into our calculator. And y'all, sometimes the equations don't really work in real life, and you'll learn this in statistics when you take advanced math, but like there could be data that messes it up. It's called an outlier. So sometimes that's why things don't work. Is anybody not to this point?
Wait, I'm not there.
Okay. Chloe, you're good with this? You're getting it? Okay. Waiting on a couple more because y'all need to get the equation part.
I got it now.
Let me pause this while I'm waiting, y'all. Now, you are going to take these numbers and calculate something. So you go back to stat, S-T-A-T, stat, and you see the little calculate word right here to the right. So you press the right button. Did everybody go over to calculate? And then you're going to go down to number 4. That says it's a line, a straight line. That's what we're looking for, a line. So press enter. Now, so some of yours will look like mine, and then some of yours have like a little information, but at the bottom it says calculate. Scroll down to calculate and press enter.
Mine just says just that.
So press enter, or if you have to scroll down to calculate and press enter, do that. And do y'all get this answer?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, so this is your slope. Y equals mx plus b. So that's your m. It tells you right here. That's your mx plus b. Okay, so let's write it down. All right, or I'm going to. You can if you want. So I'm going to write my equation. Y equals 244, or you could have put 245. Actually, I'm going to put 245 because that's bothering me. X plus 7869. Okay, and then it says, all right, is everybody there? Is everybody understand that? No?
Where are we writing?
I just wrote it on, it says,
I thought we were writing it for a certain.
write an equation. So I wrote the equation they gave me. Here, it's 245x plus 7869. All right, are y'all listening? Girls, y'all listen. Now, according to this data, girls, y'all listen. It says, what will your, what does that say? Estimated gross revenue be in 2015? How many years has that been since 1999? Sorry. In 2015, that's 16 years. So what number are we going to plug in? 16. Does everybody understand that part?
No.
Okay. It tells you that you're doing your calculations based on how many years it's been since 1999. In 2015, how many years has it been since 1999? 16 years. Okay? So, I'm going to plug in 16 for my x because that's my years. Remember, your x value is your years. So, I just do 245 times x plus that. 245, times 16. I said plus times x.
Wait, do I just clear the sound?
No, I'm just going to keep typing. So I just did 245 times 16 plus 7869. All right? And I get 11,789. And I could put, it's in millions. So I could put in millions if I wanted to. Or you could write, the millions. But I would just do this. 11,789 million. Isn't that weird how to say it? But it says it right here. In millions. They didn't want to write all the zeros after that in each table. That would have been so many numbers. So they just use that they use those words. How do we feel about this? It's not bad, is it? Okay. So that is